Hey YouTube, I know it's been a while, this really busy. Summer we kind of took off and been busy with State Fair and all that's done, getting ready for the big convention. But I want to show you this here. You've all seen this cage I've always had. It's a little 8-foot cage hanger right here. Got some meat pen grow outs in it. Normally going to be doe cages. I keep some nest box up there, some tools, and my scale off to the side. Well, I've got an idea for this area, so we'll see if it pans out. If it does, then I'll put all this video together, the before and after. Okay guys, so while I have a quick chance, I'm gonna get this video in real quick, I hope. The portion you just saw was taken 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and this is the first time I've had a chance to finish that video and get anything put together. I've just been way too busy. But this is what we're talking about and why I showed you what I showed you. So what I did was I took the cage right there and I lowered her down and I put a top on it. That's basically all I did. But man, it opened this whole area up in here for us. But it also gave me something I've been wanting really bad out here in the rabbit area, and that was somewhere where I could, you know, get rabbits out and look at them besides just on a grooming table. And I have my scale right there on the end of the table. Very similar setup to what I have in the tattoo section area, but a little bigger boxes for larger animals. And what this does is it encourages me more to get more rabbits out more often, you know, train them to posing for shows or just getting them out and evaluating them. And I just went through a whole bunch of rabbits. We had probably 50 show prospects, and I've cut it down to the 30 that I want to take to the ARBA convention in October. And this table came in so handy last week when we did that, and I was able to take pictures on it, or, you know, just comparing which ones to which ones, what I liked about which ones and wanted to keep back from which ones, anything. So all I did was I just took a, you know, I kind of cheated. I paid a little more, but I did it anyway. The plywood top on top, that's just that's a 2x4 sheet, or I'm sorry, a 4x8 sheet that's ripped down the middle. And I just went ahead and bought the 2x8 because I didn't want to rip it. So that way it was all done easily for me. Now what I did do was on the back, I took that 2x4 right there, raised it up a little bit on the back, so I added a 2x4 on the back side of the framework, raised it up a little to match the plywood there, the depth of it, just so I can push these boxes a little bit farther back, give me a little bit more room on the run, or the you know, examination area. Made my boxes out of my, you know, same old wood we would always make it out of, and wires, nothing fancy. Put a little lip around the edge so the pins don't come out. My wife can be here with her clipboard or whatever, and as I'm going through stuff, and she'll write down things about each animal. I just took a old milk crate and, you know, put my little hand tools and things that I like to use. Got some you know, they got the toenail clipper and the grooming. Got some Sharpies right here and pencil, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we did right there. What a difference that makes to this area. I mean, it absolutely lowered it, and I was able to put another LED spot up there, and just brightens it up in here in the evening. Got to bend down for the cages a little bit, these 3 doe cages, but that's all right, not a big deal. I already do that with the stackers. And that's litter there is Red Bull and strawberries. Beautiful litter of reds. I'm growing out. Can't wait to get them separated out here soon. But anyway, that's really what I was excited. I wanted to show you what we did. Just lowered that baby down, took the top off, and put a tabletop on it, and it really cleaned that area up. I'm so happy with this. It's one thing I was just missing out here, you know. I had everything, but I just didn't have that space where I could really work on them and get them out and look at them and get a feel for them. And now I'm way more motivated to do that. That right there, I don't have cats, so that's my little Mouser BB gun. Not a big deal for that. Just a good place. It's real handy for me. I can just grab it and I'm ready to take any mice out if I see any running around on the ground picking up feed. So that's about it on that. we are in the middle of, you know, it's the beginning of September. I'm getting ready to go to convention, which is in San Diego this year. But I'm right in the middle of a birthing session. I had 7 does due yesterday and then 2 due today, and all my stuff's been going a day late, so these guys should be having them all today. Here we got Bubblicious, and her box got a nice big old hole ready to go. And this is Winter Fresh, and her first litter she didn't save, had them on the wire, so second time mom, but she's dug her out back there. She's ready to go. Trident here, it was a hot day yesterday when she did have hers on time, and she had them all over the wire while I was at work. And I had one that was alive that I stuck in the box, and I think it's still alive, but it'll probably get fostered if it is to one of these does, so I can get her bred back real quick, because she had, I think, 10 total throughout the day. And not like her to normally do that, but you know, she produces some of my best brokens now, and I need to I definitely need to be getting her rebred and get going again. This is her daughter down here. This girl won best broken at our state fair. So yeah, her and York and Trident. So I want to get that breeding again. So it might have been a blessing, I don't know. I mean, I was happy with who I had her bred with, and they do fine, but this girl's really awesome. I really like her. And then her brother there, but a couple reds on the bottom, and anyway, too much to talk about for everybody. Jolly Rancher here, you know, she hasn't really dug a hole out, but she usually the last minute. Here's Peeps. She just got done with her first litter, and she's had 3 saved back out of that litter, and now she's got her box. Sorry babe, all dug out, ready to go. Sad story on her and Mamba's last litter. Neighbor's dog got under our fence and ripped the toes off of them outside, and so every single one of them, there was 8 total, 5 and 3, and they are all unshowable now, and just a really sad deal. Never had that problem before, and I got a fence yard, and the dog was determined and got out and got to it. And my neighbor's one of my best friends, so you know, things like that happen, but he knows that the next ones are all for convention. Very expensive, and we don't want to go down that road. You know, it's going to set me back a little bit in the spring, but you know, no worse than, I guess, losing the litter. It's part of life. Little sad note here too. This is Bit of Honey's litter. When they were 3 weeks old, Bit of Honey passed on a real hot day. You know, nobody else in here was really bad. She didn't have any signs of heat exhaustion. She's just a really big doe, and with a litter of 3-week-olds, I guess, you know, that was all she could take. But these guys made it from 3 weeks up, and you know, they're a couple months old now and looking gorgeous. So hopefully we find a nice replacement girl out of here for her. I haven't even sexed them because I didn't need to wean them. That's usually when I sex them. I just kind of leave them alone and let them do their thing. Oh, and then down here's Mamba, and Mamba is on a litter right now. She just had them. That's why she's getting in the box. Like, what are you doing? See, there's a little blood in there and everything yet. I haven't even looked at them or touched them because I know it just happened. I get a lot of questions about Mamba, or people asking me about her or talking about her because of all the positives I've always said about her. She's a big old girl. She's beautiful dark red. Obviously out right now with her just having babies. She's like, seriously, don't put me on TV. But she's got a really neat story, and I don't know that I've ever said it. And I was talking to one of my YouTube followers just the other day in some private messages, and we were talking about it, and I don't know that I've ever shared it, and I'll try to do that pretty quick here. But Mamba goes back to Milky Way and Zero. When I had Zero here, my white buck, and Milky Way, one of my best red does, one of my starter does, I bred them, and they had, you know, a chestnut agouti and 3 whites, I think, had Avalanche and all those guys in there. I think one's name was Frost and all that. I remember Avalanche because she was so awesome. Anyway, there was an agouti in there, and that agouti ended up going across the street to a neighbor who wanted a pet for their kid. Well, they were always gone and out of town, and I knew nobody could be taking care of that rabbit. Well, you know, a couple months go by, and they're like, we can't take care of this rabbit, we're always gone, the boy's not really interested. And that was the first and last time I'm ever going to deal with pets. I got that rabbit back, and It was about 3 pounds lighter than all its siblings I still had here. Very sad deal. I had a meat breeder that was willing to take her for me, grow her up, try to raise her right, you know, see if she'd come out of it, regain her weight. She did, and they tried to have a litter or two out of her, and she wouldn't really raise them. You know, and everyone has different situations where they're at and what's going on in this, you know, the surroundings. Well, I took that rabbit back, and that rabbit became Moon Pie. She wasn't here very long. She had a couple litters before I moved her on. But this right here is one of those babies out of her. So had it not been for all those steps and all them things, Mamba comes out of Moon Pie. So it was Milky Way, Moon Pie, and then Mamba. And you know Mars is out of Milky Way as well. Comes from that line. But it's just a really neat story for me because you know how lucky it was even to happen. And look at her. I mean, she's one of my best does. She has nice sized litters. She takes great care of all of her babies. And it's really sad though that I had 5 of them out there that lost their toes this round. It saddens me deeply because that same breeding is what I'm taking to convention, and they are some awesome animals. So next round she will definitely be bred back to Mars to do that. What these guys here are, and I don't know what they look like yet because of you know, I haven't touched them. Literally, she just had them and I just got home from work. But she was bred to York, my broken buck that's so awesome. He's got what, 16, 17 legs, something like that. And my intention is to get that super awesome body of York into my red, and vice versa, my beautiful red color into the broken. So if I have any solids out of there, I'm hoping they'll work out. It does sometimes, and sometimes they're really washed out, but the brokens are pretty, so we'll see what happens. Likely booted's in there, but we'll see. I ain't got time to look at them yet, so I don't know what's there. But anyway, that's the story on Mamba. I really like that story about how she came to be, you know, through her mom, Moon Pie, had such a rough life. Smarty and Andy's kids, these are their 2 bucks. This guy here, I believe this is one I'm going to start calling Jack Slinks. He is just a monster. So he had just turned 6 months old on Sunday of our state fair last month, and our state fair was Wednesday. So he was having to be a 6'8", but he was already over ideal senior buck weight of 10 pounds, so he had to be shown as a senior, and he just turned 6 months old. You know, it's one thing for a rabbit to go from, you know, a junior to 6'8" because they're 9 pounds, but this guy went all the way up to senior because he was over ideal senior weight. So he's just a monster. He's so hard and so firm, but again, he's Smarty Andy's breeding. He's the same as York, same as Nutrageous. I got a lot of these guys, and Atomic. I really need some more does, and we'll see what happens. Andy's is gone, she's passed on, so this is my last round. Well, there's the litter younger than these guys. It's my last round out there of them, and they're 3 does and 1 buck. So some of them are going to convention. I'm hoping to keep 1 or 2 of those does back, but I don't need all these bucks. And here's another buck, same breeding. Here's a doe I just sold, same breeding. And so that's that. Y'all know about that legacy of how I've done well with them, and we're on our last couple litters of showing those guys, and you know, but I'm moving them on. They're making great babies past that, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And down here we just got our, you know, you can't see, it's too dark, reds and brokens. These are all the show animals. Everybody's in here. Some more reds and red and red. Nothing really to say, you know, that I can really say, you know, other than these are all really nice show animals. Got a lot. I got some keepers in here and some that'll be moving on to new homes. This here is her name's going to be Crybaby Tears. I just bred her the other day. This is Big League Chew and Bubblicious daughter, and this one here is Gummy Worm. This is Gummy Bear's daughter. Gummy Bear is passed on, so Gummy Worm is going to be replacing her for now. She has 2 legs. She has 1 leg. They're bred, but they have 4 shows to do next weekend, so let's hope they can leg out and get their grand champion before their babies come. But they're bred for that show to get in good shape and condition of fur. They're two awesome little does. I really like them a lot. They just don't have the legs because they're grown over the summer, and the summer's when I'm off and there's not a lot of shows, so they didn't have many opportunities. And the broken bucks that'll be selling here soon. And I'm going to take a break right there, and I'll be right back. Okay, my apologies. My eyes were filling up with water. I had to use the restroom. So we're going to have to blow through the rest of these really quick. Not much to say. I got a bunch of grow outs out there still going to the show, you know, out in San Diego, brokens and reds. It's hard to do videos now because I don't really know what to talk about. You know, like with most things, so many people have their own opinions of things, and I like to show what I do. I don't like to push my opinion on anyone, but I just like to tell what I might do, or what works for me. You know, I don't want to tell anyone how to raise their rabbits or what to do with them, but that's, you know, it's really hard to make videos now. It feels like, you know, if anything, it's always, oh, look what I did, and I'm bragging videos, and I'd never mean it to be that way, but people always ask me where my videos are, and I try to figure out what to do. So, hey, I got a new tabletop, so I wanted to make sure to share that. So you see these black and white ones. These are not miniature New Zealands. These are the wife's Havanas, and she's gotten into Havanas. This is the one we're currently showing, one she calls Jasmine, and she is just gorgeous. Beautiful body and fur on her. The Havanas, and there's a little broken chocolate doe and a broken black doe, and this is Snow White, Merida, and this one's Pocahontas. They're all bred. And Tiana, she's bred as well. Broken chocolate. The other three are broken blacks, and then Jasmine here is the one we're gonna be showing. She's just a junior doe. So these guys are all bred to our buck. We have a new chocolate buck whose name is Toby, and we have a black buck whose name is Merino. And then we should be picking up one at the convention, a broken black buck at convention. Now, the does we were able to name, the bucks were already named, so obviously my wife's theme is Disney stuff, so, and that keeps her motivated and happy, and it's just fine with me. I don't care. But the Havanas are really neat animals. So glad we landed on them for her little breed. They don't, you know, they're smaller breed, but they remind me a lot of New Zealand. You're looking for the same type and stuff. You don't have ear issues like length and stuff, what you got to worry about. And the one thing about Havana is you don't have to play against Roo, red-eyed white rabbits. Their only Havana colors are blue, black, and chocolate, and broken. So you don't have whites. Everyone has to deal with color. Everyone has to deal with working on their color. So that's what's pretty neat about that for us. I think it is anyway, because I like the challenge of colors. They're basically like a miniature New Zealand. Their fur's a little bit different, and it's all about luster. Not sheen like a mini satin, but luster. A little bit different word. They're a little bit shinier than a New Zealand fur. That's basically what you're looking at. They're just, but man, they are so laid back. I can't express. I don't have them. They're not spraying everywhere like the Dutch were, and they're not real aggressive when they're little like the mini satins. They like to kick because they're a small breed. They just kick really hard. I mean, that's in our experience. These guys are so laid back. They let you handle them. They let you pose them. They're just, man, they're just an awesome little breed, and it's a lot of fun, you know, for my wife and for me even. But the passion for us is, and for me, is always going to be red and broken red. That's what it is, and that ain't changing, folks. I promise you that. This is my thing. So here we got a nice little broken doe that's out of Hubba Bubba and Candy Corn. Candy Corn was my Charlie doe, and Hubba Bubba is one of my red bucks. Beautiful little doe out of that. Hope she really turns out for us. She's too young to be going to convention and stuff, but she's here. Here's Smarty and Andy's buck. This is the buck that's be 2 months younger than the ones I showed you. Already a nice big sized guy. Be going to convention as well. And then we're down to these guys. These are the mini satins. This is one of the broken mini satin does we raised up. See, she's still out of coat yet, but she'll be slickening up by this winter for a few shows. What we're going to do is we're getting rid of all the blues except for this buck There's a blue young buck we raised, a little bit older blue buck we raised, and that so they can breed to the brokens. So her mother is still here, and she has that little broken, I hope is a doe, and it is out of a different buck. So let's hope that's a doe. And we're just gonna play with those broken blues for a little while until we need all these spare cages for the Havanas. These are all empty now that we've gotten rid of most of the blue. So once the Havanas need it, all the broken blue mini satins will go, and we'll just have Havanas and New Zealands. So you got my wife's Havanas and my New Zealands. Our New Zealands is really all of those, obviously. And then something else I need to show you before we go. But here's old Strawberry. She's going to be having some babies, let's hope. So she's just chilling. She is just one of the coolest rabbits ever, I promise you. She don't care about nothing. She is just awesome. Mars and candy corn. So this is candy corn, and then out of Mars, a breeding just before the one I just showed you, and she's a beast, and I hope she stays and turns out. Now, yes, she's booted, but look at the color. I mean, look at that color. That's what I need in them brokens. You got to add that color back in every once in a while so they don't completely wash out. And you know, they can still be shown. It's a fault in New Zealand, but if I do show her, so be it. If I don't, doesn't matter. She's here to make bright babies. Then we got a couple reds here. Now, I'll show you something you're gonna see and go, what? What is that? Yeah, that's a cow. That's a cow doe. And my youngest son needed something basically for his own 4-H projects. So instead of having New Zealands or the Havanas that are ours, we wanted him to have his own thing. He's much more motivated about it. That's exciting too. So he can do his meat pens for his fair, and it's not, you know, mom and dad's rabbits or whatever. No one can say that. This is his thing. So he's got a nice doe here from a good friend who bred her for us to one of his awesome bucks, and she's made some awesome babies in her first litter she had. She's only had one. And we got her, and we're getting a buck given to us by him at the Cal National next spring, one of his best bucks that he raises up, and that was in trade for all those blue mini satins for his wife or girlfriend to have her own thing. So kind of a fun deal. And we'll be getting a few more meat pen ones from an old timer I know that used to run with my dad years ago when they used to run rabbits. So I'm supposed to be getting maybe a buck and a couple does or something, but they're really only going to take, I'm thinking, 2 does and 2 bucks. I don't want to lose a bunch of cage space, but I'm okay with, you know, opening up a few for my boy to have some stuff that's different in for his county 4-H and state fair. But so you will be seeing cows here every once in a while. Again, New Zealand's aren't going nowhere. I've made lots of extra cages for everybody else's stuff. I still have mine. I'm just much more picky about what I keep back now. The more I learn and the longer I've been doing this, obviously, I don't have to keep as many. And here's Sugar Babies. Sugar Baby's getting ready to have a litter, obviously. She's pulled a little bit of fur, it looks like. Just focus. A little bit of fur, so she's about ready to drop. And then this is her last litter, and they've all got summer ears. Kind of sad, because her or the dad, Red Bull, do not have anything like that. And but they're just raised at the wrong time and the wrong hot days. So yeah, nothing's gonna change, and I'm glad I got to get the video in. I know it was long, they always are, and I appreciate you all for sticking with me and always asking about the videos and questions, and I just really enjoy talking about them, guys. And I really apologize for those of you that want stuff quicker. I understand. I was the same way whenever I was watching videos and learning too. I always want to see what people are doing, and I guess when you remember that, it makes it easier to get out and knock them out. Especially when I get messages like I did the other day of someone saying how much they really appreciate them, how much they've helped them. Those things come in, and it always motivates me to get out here. But again, y'all take care, and I guess I probably won't have a video out before then, so we'll talk to y'all after the big convention. Thanks again.